Hi, I'm Brandy. This is Hound Dog Hollow, and today I'm going to be doing a book review for The Complete Guide to Astrology by Louise Eddington. This is probably the last astrology book review I'm going to do for a little bit, just because, like I said, I'm sunsetting the content creation aspect for the next year. I'm trying to deep dive into something else, and we'll talk about that soon. But this was a really good book. I think that in the structure of my astrology collection, I would say that this would have been a really, really nice book for myself to have as my first or second book in astrology. It did still have information for me as an intermediate astrologer, student of astrology, as far as like learning certain nuances and different takes. So I did get stuff out of it. I feel like the most I would have gotten out of it would have been as a new learner, but it still had a lot of information I'm going to show you. So this was on sale on Amazon, but you can purchase it wherever. It's kind of lined out like a textbook, which I really, really enjoy because it's kind of walking you through in a study with a purpose to learn. Just a brief introduction. So it starts off with the building blocks, just like I do in my series and just like many other books. It talks about a foundation in astrology, the historical origins, and then it goes into the elements, which we call the triplicities, or the modalities, which we call the quadruplicities. So breaks those down. It talks about how they manifest. It kind of does a parallel between the horoscope and the medicine wheel. It talks about the elements. Then it moves into sun signs. So, and this is a nice place. This is why I'm saying it would be a nice book for like a nice astrology 101, because most of us start with our sun sign secularly and in regular everyday culture. I think that most people in the US at least know their sun sign and know how to identify other people's sun signs. So it's a nice place to ease in, and it just goes into each sun sign individually and just some keywords and like a blurb about them. And then it goes into the ascendant and rising sign and decans. And this is a little bit more advanced. And the only reason I say so is that most people don't know the time of their birth. And some people will never know the time of their birth. A lot of people, myself included, will have to look at their birth certificate to find out what time they were born, and then look it up to find their rising sign. But I do like that it's the next thing because it's really important. It's the way that the world perceives you. And then she goes into giving a brief blurb about each rising sign. Then each of these little boxes has like little information, just different stuff. It doesn't even have to be necessarily pertaining to what's in the chapter. So this is the opposite, the descendant. The decans are like every astrological sign can be divided by 10 days, and those have different flavors as well. So it goes through, like, for example, I was born August 11th, so I would be the second decan of Leo. And then it just goes through and talks to you about how those particular Leos are a different kind of expression. And that's a nice layer, I think. I think you would get a lot of information and fun out of this book. Then they dive into the planets. So Sun, Moon, Mercury, Venus, so on and so forth. Dwarf planets, of course, we're talking about Pluto and stuff. And when we talk about dignities and debilities, so basically, where is that planet strong? Where is that planet weak? And every planet has a rulership and an exaltation, which is where they're strong. And every planet has a detriment and a fall, which is where they're weak. And it talks about each planet's of that. It dives right into aspects, which is like the angles between your signs, and it talks about what they are, how they're measured, which ones are considered positive, considered negative, although they really soften that language up a lot. Also, unexpected planet and the most expected planet are concerns that this person brings up in the book. Then we go into houses. So it's really laying it out, really building upon the information. It's not quite the same structure I myself use when I'm teaching astrology or going over astrology, but it's really close. And it has lots of information. So these are all the information about the houses. The quadrants are like, so it's got 4 major angles. So if this is the circle of astrology, you start at the 9 o'clock, which is your rising sign, and then your under sky, and then your descendant, and then your midheaven. Those are the 4 major angles. But also you can divide it by the top and the bottom half of your horoscope, your natal chart, your wheel, and then the right and the left, or the western and the eastern. So it talks a little bit about that. Next part, we're diving into your birth chart. So how it's structured, it basically explains it to you, the sectors, has a little example here, houses, planets, sectors, and then it goes through some sample charts to help you kind of get an idea of how you're looking at it. Then it goes into interpreting your sun, moon, and ascendant. Of course, that's the biggest bulk of yourself, is those 3 signs. Then it talks about your angles. So again, your ascendant, your descendant, your midheaven, and your undersky. How to calculate your aspects, but if you're getting a free chart from like Cafe Astrology, it will already have it calculated for you, and then you just have to read. Then it tells you to look at different things like planets and their dominion, so basically planets where they're doing well, and ruling planets. So is the planet that rules your ascendant. So for me it's Neptune, because I'm a Pisces rising. Stellium is something to look for. I have a stellium, so does my son. Planets and mutual reception, and then lots of information. Asteroids and Chiron. So Chiron, Ceres, Pallas Athena, Vesta, Juno. All of these you can find easily on Cafe Astrology or and lots of different online sources for free. Then it talks about taking a closer look, a little bit deeper dive, your hemisphere emphasis, your north node and your south node, and how, like, which is a more advanced topic. Your eclipses, your soul groups, retrograde planets, intercepted signs, which if by the time you get here in the book, it doesn't sound like a foreign language. She is built up to it. Transits, she really put transits in a nice way. That was, because transits have always been like a hard concept for me. I don't know why, but it doesn't ring true for me very easily. So she put it in a way that I felt really connected with. She has a whole part about sun signs at work and love. So what you're calling according to your sun sign, which a lot of people love that kind of astrology. And then it goes Cancer at work, Aries at work, Gemini at work. So it's just a nice extra layer. Your love according to the zodiac, and then Aries in love, and so on, and Leo in love, and so on. Which a lot of people like to review. And then appendices, where we just have like a conclusion. We have a glossary. Sorry, conclusion and a glossary. I'm at a weird angle here. The major aspects, like a cheat sheet, kind of like look for these things. The astrological tables, which we already have. Planets, like where they rule, exalted, detriment, fall. The decans. Just nice little charts, different book suggestions. So Mysteries of the Dark Moon I do have. I don't have any of these other books. And I love Cafe Astrology. That's usually where I get. These are free astrology apps, things like that, and then an index. So very nice book, straightforward, easily lined out, structured. It was a really, really quick read for me, but partly because obviously I've been reading a lot of astrology books, and I've been doing this for a while. So what I was really looking for was information that I hadn't heard before, which I did take a lot of notes. So very good book. I would recommend it to you. It's more of a nice 101, kind of a more modern and if astrology for yourself and the only astrology book you would ever have had a baby and it was still in its adolescence, it would be this book. Which is a really nice mix for me because I love those books, and it's just a nice intro if you're looking for that kind of thing. And so it's a nice part of my collection. Anyways, I love you guys so much. Like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you for watching. This is the last astrology book that I'm going to be reviewing for a while. Next week, we are going to be starting Ancestral books, which I'm so excited for, and I loved reading all of them. I love you guys. Catch you soon.